Babes, what is up? How we doing? Chapter 1077. It's crazy because I feel like chapter 1000 just came out, but we're almost to 1100 already, which is wild. What else was wild was this chapter. I have my own opinions on it, and it could be way out of left field, but I feel good about it. So that's what I'm gonna say at the end of this. You should have put it together sooner is the name of the chapter, which is very interesting because we know this is a mystery, and we're trying to figure out who is the big bad who is imprisoning all these people. And I'm not 100%. I think some people might be right, and even right now I'm not like fully convinced on what I think, but we'll see. The cover page was cool. We didn't get one last week or 2 weeks ago because there was a break. But with all the Vegapunk flashbacks, now we're seeing Germa and Caesar deciding that, hey man, it was his fault all along. And it looks like the kids in the back are like, we don't care. Can you guys just stop fighting? The beginning of this chapter was actually excellent. Sentomaru is trying to tell everybody to leave the island, and he's smart to do so because the destruction of this island is imminent. And he's saying the world government, after they found out that Ohara had figured out as much as they had about certain topics that shall not be named, they destroyed the entire island. They destroyed every inhabitant of that island except Nico Robin. And I think Jay Garcia being on the way, that this is even a higher task of importance for the government. So it's interesting to see him telling all these people, like, you guys need to leave. And it seems like Sentomaru has already kind of accepted his fate, and I really respect that after deploying all of the pacifistas with their various devil fruits. But dude, the technology is getting too much. Like, just on the next page, we're seeing stuff that is a little much. Even I thought the Lunafistas were super strong, but they're taking Kong organs. Gear 4th Luffy, no problem. Awakened leopard model Lucci, no problem. Kuma's just kind of taking these hits along with Kid Hawkeye. It's not mattering. Kaku doesn't seem to be doing a whole lot, and even some of Zoro's strongest techniques are not working at all. Of course, as we already knew, they have the lineage factor, or like the racial Lunarian factor that King had. And it was a funny little situation where Zoro's like, oh yeah, I could have figured this out soon. They're like, you didn't figure that out sooner? After saying he had white hair, brown skin, black wings, flames on his back. Does that sound familiar? And they're like, are you dumb? But it's funny seeing these guys be a little comedic together in a situation that is about to become very, very dire. Right now it's just somewhat dire, but it's about to be very, very dire. Now, there's a couple clues that don't have me fully convinced on who it might be. Who the traitor is, who's doing the bad stuff. But as soon as I saw Zoro, Lucci, Kaku, and Luffy all struggling with their Lunafistas, I was like, dude, these other Straw Hats, these other groups are going to get manhandled. And that's exactly what's happening. Nami is the last one up in her group. Like I said, I kind of thought that was the weakest group just from the start of it. But Jinbei kind of beat up Brook. He's made of bones and he knocked off his head, but it's kind of a surprise attack. Edison got the brakes beaten off of him. And Nami's like, I don't want to, but I'm going to hit this little kid Jinbei. And she looks like she actually does a good hit, which, like I said, after her upgrade of getting Zeus and Wano, her stock went through the roof. Absolutely went through the roof. That is a very broken and strong power. And even though she doesn't have like durability or endurance or a lot of what makes somebody like high combative, she does have Zeus, and Zeus is broken, and Nami's smart. Her fight IQ, I would say, is actually pretty decent. I would say since Alabasta, she's been throwing it down. She's been absolutely about it. But Jinbei, with his broken ass devil fruit that fits him way too well, comes out to try and sneak attack her, but right before Sanji comes to the rescue and hits Jinbei with this very strong attack, Jinbei's going to get up and it's going to be like a fight back and forth, which I find hilarious because their bounties were like neck and neck, and technically they were making fun of him right before this started that he was 4th. So for him to be fighting Jinbei, or a version of Jinbei, I find hilarious and awesome. But he called him Jin Brat, which I love because, you know, Jinbei's my boy, so yeah, love to see that. He comes to the rescue. We didn't get a look at Jinbei's group. I think he was with Sanji, if I'm right. I would have to go back and check, but I think that group might be the group that figures out this mystery. I think just because they're not in combat, they might be the ones to figure out more stuff going on. But we go to Lilith's group, who's fighting, I almost said Nico Robin, who's fighting the Queen of the Snakes as a child. She has some bubble stuff. It seems like they have some good technique to deal with devil fruit users. And she's saying the green blood that gives you the devil fruit ability also comes with the cons of having it bad against seawater or the ocean, which is ginormous, because once these things are actually let out, because I think this is just the introduction. I think in the final war, these guys are going to be playing a very big role. Once that is the case, hopefully seawater is regularly available to take these things out, because if not, they are going to continue to be a crazy problem. Because I have to think that at this point, you put them at least on King, because if you think about what Zoro was doing with King in that whole fight, what made King so hard was his Lunarian blood. It was not the devil fruit. The devil fruit helped out a decent amount and definitely added to his durability, but it didn't add that much. It really did not add that much. Zoro was swinging for the absolute fences and doing a ton of damage. So for each of these guys to have Lunarian blood and that same flame trick is ridiculous, is absolutely ridiculous. And right now, I was already putting them maybe like first commander level. I think they're a half step above that. There's no way they're Emperor Admiral level. I'm not crazy, but it seems like they're a half step above first commanders. And that might seem a little wild too. Maybe once they figure out this trick, it's not too bad. But to have devil fruits that fit people with Lunarian blood is ridiculous. And we don't even know what's happening with their eyes yet. We don't even know what's happening there. So I still think that there's more to give, and they're still children. So like by the time that they're fully developed, it's going to be an absolute issue for everyone involved. But moving on. They actually seem to be putting the moves on her. Frankie gets her with that bubble and drops it on her. But in her loving beauty, she tricks him, kicks him, turns him to stone, turns Usopp and Lilith to stone just like that, and that group's kind of toast now. That group just lost. And then we immediately move on to the next page. Yeah, I don't even know how they're going to get rescued. I don't know if it is a capture mission. I don't know if someone else is in charge. I mean, somebody is of those people, but are they going to round them up in a certain way and present them to the government? That could be the situation, which is going to make it way harder to leave, because we're going to have to do a little rescue mission. We're going to have to tangle with admirals and some other people we do not want to be fighting. But Shaka comes down. So I skipped it earlier, but I did that intentionally. At the end of the pages with Luffy and Zoro and Lucci, we see Shaka is leaving. Shaka is leaving, and we don't know where. Now, if you look at that panel specifically, right before it changes over to Nami, they're both shocked, because Luffy catches him and he's like, "Hey, Helmet, where are you going?" And he's like, "Oh shit, like I was trying to sneak out without anyone seeing," which he totally was, which he absolutely was. And you can't tell me that he wasn't, because they were both like, "Wait a minute." Like Luffy's like, "Whoa, where are you going?" And he's like, "Oh shit, you saw me leaving, fuck." And he's like, I think I may know where the Stella's gotten to. I'm like, all right, fair enough. Mr. Logic Man himself, and don't forget that he is Logic. Who's there? Are you the one behind all this? And they're calling out Shaka. Now, Shaka goes down these steps, and it's known as an underground old devil fruit research lab. So did they know about the area? Sure, but I guess they haven't used it in a while. But even if they haven't used it in a while, it does beg the question why he decided to go down there now. And even though it doesn't seem like a hidden area, for months and months these Cypher Pole agents have been here. And I'm just like, I don't know. So then who's keeping watch of this place? And Shaka looks hella sus, because he was sneaking off. He was sneaking off, and we don't know why. He's the Logic Man. I'm telling you, he's the Logic Man. But we don't know. So then he comments on, "Hey, the CP agents are all here. I thought they left." Even Dr. Vegapunk's like, "Yo, who'd you bring with you?" And there was no reaction. And Shaka does look very genuine in his actions. He does. But he's Logic, so I have to think that if this is a murder mystery, that I don't think Shaka's even out of it. I don't. I think Shaka's the bad guy. And that might seem dumb, because in the very next panel on the very last page, that man gets blasted. That man gets shot in the head. His brain guts are everywhere. He is toast. I don't know who shot him. The only person that's not in attendance at the moment is I always forget her name. The one who eats, the one who shits, the one who sleeps, the one made of desire. And I think that the person made of desire also makes a lot of sense. And I think these are the last two that it could possibly be. I know, like, what are you saying that it's Shaka? He just got shot in the head. He could be faking. We didn't see his face. We don't even know if that's his central hub. We don't know enough about any of these characters to be too sure of anything. But it would make sense that Desire decided that there's a sweeter pot to be had, that there's something that they could benefit from doing all of this. And that's the only person I believe that we're not aware of. Pythagoras just got beat up. Lilith is stone. Shaka just got shot in the head. And I think all the other ones are taken care of unless I'm crazy. I would have to go back and check, but I believe she's the one that's been the sneakiest out of all of them. Atlas, she got beat up, and I believe she's with Jinbei, I think that's who she's with. But then I think that it's down to Desire and Shaka. And even though Shaka's like that's blood, like he is toast. But I just don't know if I buy it, because the man is logic, and for him to go check down there, it seems like he's two in the know. It seems like he's sneaking around, and I don't know. I don't know if Shaka was able to transfer his body or mind into something else. I don't know. And I know that's kind of a little far-fetched, and the more I look at this, the more I think that it might be the Desire Lady. I just don't know. But Vegapunk seems absolutely shocked. There is no break next week, and it looks like we're finally going to be able to see that person of who it is. The person who's been sneaking around probably this entire time. Maybe. Because if it's Desire, the person that was taking out the cameras, I'm pretty sure is not Desire, because everyone was in the hub at that point. Another theory that I like is that the Resistance might be here. That could be the person taking everything out, and they're looking to go after the head of some of these Marines on the way. Another theory I like is that the Cross Guild is here, and the Cross Guild is looking to take out some of the Marines because the bird has left the nest, which I would love to see. And because that bird has left the nest, I think we could really see some crazy power scaling on Egghead that makes Wano look silly, and in a very fast way too. But that's my thoughts on it. Another great chapter. Looking forward to next week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you think, and I'll catch ya. Bye.